Hello and welcome to another My NTND marriage video. Choosing your battles. It's such an important part of not just relationships, but life. Parenting, friendships, all of the above. When it comes to children, any good parent will know that the success stems from being able to choose your battles wisely and always winning any battle you start. There's no point picking every little battle. You will just exhaust yourself and the children may grow to resent you. And it's much the same with relationships. We're really just overgrown children. We respond the same way. We like compliments, we like praise, we like being told we're good, we're worthy, we're enough, we're loved. So when it came to my relationship, I knew this already and I functioned this way. I didn't sweat the small stuff right from the very beginning. And so of course, to give you some examples of what small stuff there was to sweat, when I moved in with my partner, he used to do this thing where he would stand the shampoo bottles up the right way with the lid at the top, and they'd be almost empty. And so I would, when I had my shower, would then turn them upside down so that the shampoo dribbled to the bottom, which was now where the lid was, so that when he got in the shower next, he could just flick the lid, put the shampoo on, and he's right, ready to go. Whenever I would get in the shower, it would be the other way round, again at the bottom. And so then I would have to tip it upside down and then wait for it to get down to, pourable out of the lid. And that was irritating, but not enough that I needed to stress about it. And I did ask him if he could stop doing that, and he kind of heard what I said and then didn't hear what I said. Or something, because he never stopped. And also when I met him, he used to do this to the toothpaste. He goes like this, pours it out like that, and then you go there and you've got this mangled toothpaste. And I would then have to always squeeze it up to the top again to get it back out. And again, I said to him, can you not do that with the toothpaste, please? Just kind of squeeze it so that it's ready for me to pour out. And again, he heard what I said, but he didn't. And so instead of having a battle with him about that, I just started buying my own shampoo and my own toothpaste. And that way there, I could stick them in the shower upside down however I wanted, or the toothpaste, just always squeeze it up how I like. And that was that issue resolved. My partner, on the other hand, was picking every battle. He was getting cross because meat wasn't defrosted. There was one time we went to the checkout and I said, we could do with this cloth, help clean around the house. And so I put it in the trolley. And then when we get in the car, he's starting to, have words with me in his harsh tone about how embarrassing that was, because now the checkout lady thinks that he's a grommet and his house is a pigsty. And I was like, that's not even nearly what the checkout lady is thinking, but all right. So he was picking every battle and I was picking important battles. I was picking battles that had to do with our need for connection, communication, intimacy and foreplay, whereas he was picking all manner of battles about all manner of small things, which of course is exhausting for him as well as it is for me. And I would raise these issues probably every 3 months, every 6 months, just a handful of times a year. And I would be met with the same responses. Firstly, he would deny he was not meeting my needs. He would tell me it's normal for males to do this in relationships. He would deny my needs mattered and that I'm the only one who thinks that way. He would tell me I'm the reason the needs aren't being met, I'm at fault. Then he would tell me he's not meeting my needs because I'm not meeting his needs, such as defrosting meat and making comments at the checkout and such. And then he would promise to meet my needs. And this cycle would just repeat itself. Instead of complaining, I did a lot of trying to have my needs met just naturally, such as communicating with him or being intimate. And by intimate, I'm not talking sex, I'm talking the little warm affections and things that happen outside of the bedroom that lead to intimacy in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom. So you've got intimacy just in general within your relationship. And so I'm bringing about these changes myself, or at least trying to, just by being the thing that I want him to be. So I'm communicating, I'm being affectionate, I'm complimenting him, I'm starting, small little conversations, praising him, loving him, and picking my battles. Instead of picking battles all of the time daily, which I could have been, I just waited to discuss the big things. And we had a conversation at some point in the relationship where he was saying something about his needs not being met, or me being annoying or irritating, something along those lines. And I said to him, you don't seem to realise that you're annoying me too. He's kind of like, what? I am? How? And I said, well, the shampoo, the toothpaste, there's all these little things that you're doing as well that drive me nuts. But I'm not complaining about them and bringing them up and saying anything about them. That would be too exhausting. It would be pointless. It would be unfun. The relationship would just be you nitpicking at me and me nitpicking at you, and who wants that? And he was a bit surprised. He sort of looked like he was taking it in, but because of how he operates with regards to thoughts and feelings, I feel like he's not quite able to take in what I say about my thoughts and feelings. I'm not sure if that's an accurate statement about what it's like to be on the spectrum. But it did seem that he couldn't understand where I was coming from. And when he was getting upset about almost everything, I was trying to calm him down, reason with him, logic with him, trying to outline the situations, talk the scenes through. I'd sort of say, well, this was happening, and then that happened, and then this happened, and that's, the sequence. And I was trying to get him to understand, as well as saying, look, I could be equally as agitated with you as you are with me. And I would try to reason him out of it. And I thought, of course, at the start, not knowing he was on the spectrum, that I would be able to reason with him and he would hear what I was saying and be like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying and that makes sense. However, he didn't seem to respond that way at all. And so we ended up having this constant battle that then turned into this kind of mega battle of unresolved issues, of my sort of 4 core needs not being met and his trillion needs not being met. And then our daily existence was a battle about his needs. And since that was happening, of course, then my needs are getting put on the back burner because we're so busy arguing and back and forth about these niggly little needs that he keeps raising, that the real needs that were going to matter in the relationship were just getting pushed to the side. In the end, my biggest need became, stop battling over the small things. You're ruining the relationship. And that became our number one battle. And for years this went on, me pleading and begging and asking him to stop sweating the small stuff, stop fussing over the minor details, stop getting angry. That was my core thing. Stop getting angry. This anger that you have is just ruining everything. Because when somebody loses their temper with you, it's really hard for you just to move on. It's not that easy. Like, he'll lose his temper and moments later be over it. He'll just do this flip around. I was cross, but now I'm good. Whereas when he's attacking me because he's cross, I'm not suddenly good. It can take me sometimes days to get over being yelled at. I mean, nobody wants to be yelled at, you know, and I was so sure that if I was doing that to him, he would hate it as equally as much as I did. But of course, I couldn't reason or explain that to him. So that became my biggest concern, was just that temper of his and him getting more and more and more angry with each, I mean, you can imagine it, right? With each little thing that he raises. You didn't defrost the meat, you made that comment at the checkout, and you talk too much, and you're annoying, and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, he would be getting super frustrated because every day he's complaining, and so then every day he's thinking, I'm miserable and unhappy and annoyed and angry all the time. And he's not equating the fact that he's aggro and angry all the time because of himself and his constant niggling and nitpicking. And so it made for an interesting dynamic. And from his perspective, I was now battling him at every turn. He wasn't seeing it as him picking all these minor battles. He didn't seem to know the rule of pick your battles and choose them wisely. He was just picking every battle. And so from his perspective, I was just this rebellious, annoying child person who wouldn't do what daddy said, you know. He was so frustrated. He was like, why can't you just do what I want? And the hardest part about that was that what he wanted would change. I mean, you don't know that he's going to get annoyed about you because you didn't defrost the meat. So how do you know to do that to not make him annoyed in the first place? So, of course, then I end up walking on eggshells because almost everything I do is something that triggers him. And then he's now in this perpetually bad mood, not coping with the relationship very well at all. I mean, you can imagine it made for some serious crazy making on both sides. And so I would ask him, I would say, ask yourself this: will this particular issue you're raising better the relationship? Will it bring us closer? Does it matter in the scheme of things? Will it matter when we're 90? And if you think about it, using the meat and communication as examples, if I don't defrost the meat once, or even if I was just really, I don't know, perpetually not defrosting meat, will it bring us closer if I suddenly start defrosting that meat? Versus my want for communication and intimacy. Will that bring us closer if we're doing those things? And so you can see already the answer is no to this and yes to that. And so they're the battles that you need to focus on. The ones that are going to better the relationship as a whole. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't have needs that need to be met. For example, when he comes home from work, he likes a good amount of wind down time before anybody comes up and bombards him with conversation. Absolutely fair enough. That will better the relationship because his need is being met, and this is an important need that matters to his mental well-being. And so when you're in your relationship and you're thinking, will I raise this issue or won't I? Ask yourself those important questions. Does it matter in the scheme of things? Will it make your relationship better? If the answer is yes, by all means, have that conversation, communicate that through, work it out, sort it out. And if the answer is no, don't pick that battle. Don't even worry about that battle. Just let it go and be okay with that. It's important that you're not alienating your partner through all of your own discourse and nitpicking and fault finding. And I speak of it in general because it's not always the Aspies that are fault finders and nitpickers. It really depends on the personality. My husband is not a nitpicker because he's Aspie, at least I don't think. And I say that because I've met neurotypicals who are nitpickers. He nitpicks because it's part of his personality. He nitpicks because he doesn't know about choosing battles wisely. And there are bunches of neurotypicals out there who are in exactly the same boat, who are riding their partners relentlessly. And from my perspective, it's equally important, if not a little bit more important, for the neurotypical to not do that to their partner who can only adapt and change and grow so much. There's not a lot of change and adaptation they can make to how their brain works. And you have to be patient and understanding about that. You can't nitpick every fault they have because they're on the spectrum. And so that's what I say, both sides, choose your battles wisely and make sure they strengthen and better your relationship instead of damaging it. And so now I leave it over to you. Leave a comment below if you can relate to what I'm speaking about here. Have you been in this situation where your partner or yourself has been the nitpicker and picking all sorts of battles? I'm sure if you've done that, you will find that it was very exhausting, very mentally exhausting. And relationships are meant to be fun. Surprising, isn't it? They're meant to be loving and warm and a safe place to fall, as Dr. Phil says. And that's what I wanted for my partner, and that's why I was bringing that to the table, choosing my battles wisely. I want him to know that I am a safe place for him to fall. So comment below, love to hear your thoughts, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it.